Yesterday it looks like economy was the biggest discussion, and joined to that was the issue of how you support farmers, for instance, around land issues.
Yes, indeed, Brother. Yesterday was the first day of the Cabinet Lekgotla, which was preceded by an eNCA Lekgotla. You'd understand that the eNCA Lekgotla provides the direction of the Cabinet Lekgotla and which direction the executive will be taking. So that Cabinet Lekgotla yesterday was started by an address by the Minister of Finance in London, who gave an economic overview of the country's finances, where the country sits in this current economic climate. He also came about and issued out South Africa's sluggish economy, where you've got the stats that have just come out of the high employment rate in the country. Then you've got the issue of the president's non-address last week of land expropriation without compensation and amending Section 25. So that's where they currently sit. The whole day yesterday they were deliberating on the issues of the economy, job creation, and actually the job losses in Impala and Amplats, in one of the mines in the Platinum Belt. You've seen AMCU President yesterday, Joseph Mathunja, threatening a total shutdown of the platinum sector through those jobs that may be retrenched. Not even 13,000 jobs anymore. Impala coming out and saying, in fact, all of those 40,000 jobs that they currently have for their employees are at risk. So it seems as if the issue is the economy and nothing but the economy for the ANC government, particularly looking at the high cost of living, the frequent fuel price increases. We've seen the president's visit to predominantly oil production countries. So it shows you that they are trying to sort out this economic crisis, but whether or not they will have a proper program of action and implemented after this Cabinet Lekgotla remains a question to be seen.
Well, I think they've stirred the pot, Samkele, over land expropriation without compensation. As much as we know the economy is probably top of mind right now, but that is the bigger issue that's got people talking as well. Lots of criticism over that. Is this Cabinet Lekgotla going to deal with? Because everyone is saying, yes, we want to know how, and the how can't come later. The how has to come now to quell the panic that we're seeing out there over this. Is this Lekgotla going to deal with the how? How they're going to do this?
In the words of Nomvula Mokonyane yesterday, it's not whether she says, let me paraphrase, we need to come up with a proper methodology and of how to implement land expropriation without compensation. She went as far as to saying that the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform has identified about 100 pockets of land which they will be rolling out to rapid, fast redistribution of land to the people. Whether how they will implement land expropriation without compensation or the correct wording that they want for the amendment of Section 25, it's not yet clear. We didn't have an opportunity to engage with the Minister of Land Reform and Rural Development, Ms. eNCA Mashaban, who's been very silent on this issue of land expropriation without compensation, one may say. We've seen the issues of Ronald Lamula of the ANC, who heads that debate, speaking up, and the ANC's ECT head, Enoch Godongwane, along with the president himself when he addressed the nation last week in that recorded interview. So it brings about the question, how involved is the Department of Rural Development in this critical issue of land expropriation without compensation, or whether they will be tabling any report to the Cabinet Lekgotla starting yesterday and ending today on how far South Africa is with land redistribution and how this issue of economic growth and stimulating food production so that it does not hurt South Africa's food production as they pursue to expropriate land without compensation, especially when you've got high levels of unemployment escalating in this country.
Yeah, I guess things will become clearer after Parliament has made its report. Remember, this is a parliamentary process as well, so the government can't really be seen to be jumping the gun on land expropriation without compensation. And but today is the last day. And you mentioned something earlier about an action plan, a program action plan. The sentiment around there when you were there, are you getting the sense that really there's serious business that's going to come out of this Cabinet Lekgotla in terms of these challenges? I mean, 27.2% of our economically active population are unemployed. But if you add those who've given up, you're getting to just 38%, just under 40%. That means 4 out of every 10 South Africans of a working age are unemployed. I mean, that's a disaster.
In the words of Senzeni Zokwane, the minister, he says that the president from his side wanted to know which tractors are available so that when they have to support farmers, especially when the rainy season comes. They do have their tractors in place. They do have all the packages that they need to support upcoming and emerging farmers on this aspect. So the president seems as if he's got his ducks in a row and has a proper plan of action when it comes to the agricultural sector. Whether or not he has his Minister of Land Reform and Land Affairs on his side is the question that many people and South Africans will be pondering and asking themselves, because they've not seen much of Meitunkwana Mashabane on that aspect of land, on the land question.
Okay, I think we've made a lot of points about the land, but what about this thing very briefly? We are running out of time, sorry, partner, about VAT, fuel price increases. The president set up that economic cluster to investigate which products, further products could be, for instance, zero rated under VAT. Is this Cabinet Lekgotla going to give us some idea of what it's going to look like going forward in terms of VAT and fuel price increases?
Yes, it should give us a direction going forward, because as I had said earlier on, the Minister of Finance and Ladlani did table an economic report of how far South Africa is and how the poor can be cushioned from the frequent fuel price increases and the increase of 1% on the value-added tax. So when Nomvula Mokonyane gives the outcomes of the Cabinet Lekgotla, those are the issues that certainly will come out, and we will ask her should she not give us further clarity on that and how they will be rolling out this issue with a proper POA, a program of action.
Okay, we'll let you get on the road. You've got to be there by 8 o'clock, Samkele. Best you fly.
Thank you very much, Samkele.
Drive carefully, though. Don't rush. All right, Samkele Maseko is heading to the end, day 2 of this Cabinet Lekgotla.